In the early hours of a quiet Texas morning, police sirens shattered the calm of a small apartment complex in Tomball, just outside Houston. Inside one apartment, a brutal crime scene, one man already dead, and a woman fighting for her life. Nearly 30 years later, the man responsible, Charles Victor Thompson, 55, was executed Wednesday evening, January 28, 2026, at the Huntsville unit, becoming the first person put to death in the United States in this year. Thompson was pronounced dead at 6:50 p.m. CST following a lethal injection administered by the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Here are his last words. "Yes, I would like to say that I hope the victim's family, their extended family, and their loved ones can find forgiveness in their heart, and that you can begin to heal and move past this. There is no winners in this situation. It creates more victims and traumatizes more people 28 years later. I'm sorry for what I did. I'm sorry for what happened. And I want to tell all of y'all, I love you and that keep Jesus in your life. Keep Jesus first. To my children, get to know the Lord and I love you all. That's it, Warden." Thompson was sentenced to death for the April 1998 murders of his ex-girlfriend, Glenda Dennis Hayslip, 39, and her new boyfriend, Darren Keith Kane, 30. Prosecutors said Thompson fatally shot both victims inside Hayslip's suburban Houston apartment. His case stretched across decades, filled with violence, courtroom battles, a shocking jail escape, and renewed debates about capital punishment in America. This is the story of how one night of rage turned into a long journey toward death row. Glenda Dennis Hayslip was 39 years old and trying to move forward with her life. Her relationship with Charles Victor Thompson had ended, and she had recently begun dating Darren Keith Kane, a 30-year-old man who friends say brought happiness back into her world. But Thompson struggled to accept the breakup. On the evening of April 29, 1998, emotions boiled over. Police were called to Hayslip's apartment after reports of a domestic disturbance involving Thompson. Officers arrived, separated everyone involved, and escorted Thompson away. For a few hours, things were quiet, but that peace was only temporary. Around 3 hours later, in the early morning of April 30th, Thompson came back. This time, he wasn't just angry, he was armed. He kicked in the front door of the apartment, forcing his way inside. Inside were Darren Kane and Glenda Hayslip. According to investigators, Thompson immediately confronted Kane. 4 gunshots rang out in rapid succession. Kane was unalived. After Kane was no longer moving, Thompson reloaded his gun. He then turned toward Hayslip, firing directly into her face. Thompson then fled the scene. Emergency responders arrived within minutes. Despite her devastating injuries, Glenda Hayslip was still alive. She was rushed by Life Flight helicopter to Herman Hospital in Houston, where doctors fought desperately to save her. But days later, doctors determined there was no meaningful chance of recovery. Glenda Hayslip passed away. What began as a domestic conflict had now become a double murder. In 1999, Thompson stood trial in Harris County for capital murder. Prosecutors laid out a powerful case, including forensic evidence, witness statements, and Thompson's confession. Under Texas law, the jury determined that Thompson's actions directly caused her death. He was found guilty of capital murder and sentenced to death in April of 1999. While awaiting appeals in jail, Thompson's case took another disturbing turn. Years later, Thompson was granted a new punishment hearing in 2005. This time, the jury was tasked with deciding whether he should live or die. Prosecutors again pushed for the death penalty. In October 2005, Thompson was once again sentenced to death. Just days after receiving his second death sentence, something happened that stunned the nation. Charles Victor Thompson escaped from the Harris County Jail. Using a smuggled handcuff key, civilian clothes, and a fake identification badge, Thompson slipped free from custody. A massive manhunt was launched. For 3 days, Thompson remained on the run, making him the only American death row inmate in the 21st century to successfully escape custody. He was eventually found intoxicated at a payphone in Shreveport, Louisiana, and arrested without incident. He was quickly returned to Texas. Over the next 2 decades, Thompson filed appeal after appeal, challenging evidence, witness testimony, and the legal process. But each time, courts rejected his claims. As years passed, the case slowly faded from headlines until Texas scheduled his execution. In September 2025, Thompson's death warrant was issued. His execution on January 28, 2026, at the Huntsville unit comes during a time when Texas is preparing to carry out multiple executions in 2026, once again placing the state at the center of America's death penalty debate. While some families see executions as justice finally being served, others question whether the system is fair, especially after decades of appeals, delays, and controversies. Other cases remain under review, with some inmates receiving stays of execution amid concerns about faulty evidence and wrongful convictions. The conversation around capital punishment continues divided and emotional. For the families of Glenda Dennis Hayslip and Darren Keith Kane, the pain never truly faded. And for Texas, it is yet another moment in its long and controversial history of capital punishment. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more true crime content.